Now that Atlas is okay with me picking up his feet, holding his feet, picking them out with a hoof pick, I'm going to start introducing the rasp. So he's also had his feet trimmed, and so he's used to like the nippers. But we haven't done a whole lot of rasping, kind of trim around the edge. So I'm going to introduce him to this, and I'm just going to let him see it first, and he seemed fine with it. And then I'm just going to pick up his foot like normal, and I'm just going to do one little rasp, and I'm going to click as it rasps at his foot and makes like a weird feeling or a weird sound. And then I just set it back down and feed him. So that's the process. Like I'm just going to click for every time that I'm rasping, and then I'll just kind of stretch that time out. So it gives me his foot, so I'm just going to rasp. As I'm doing that, I'm clicking, I'll set his foot down, and then I'll go ahead and feed him. So this is going to be the very beginning. I'm not going to do this every time, but I'm going to start by every time I rasp, I give him a click and a reward so that he starts being okay with the rasp. The rasping sensation isn't scary or the sound isn't scary, so I want him to just know that it's just another thing that I do with his feet, no big deal. And that's going to be the same process, so it'd be like 2 rasps next. I'll do that a few times and then reinforce 3 rasps, and so on and so on and so on, till I can rasp his whole foot and give him a treat. Or I can do 2 feet and give him a treat, and then 3 feet, and then I can do all his feet and he can have a treat. Whatever it might be that you want to stretch it out to be, but this is the beginning of it. So I just had him turn around here. We're going to do the same thing on that other front foot. So he's a little bit more advanced with his front feet than he is his hind feet. So I'm just going to be working on his front feet right now. I do hold up his back feet and pick out his back feet, but we're just going to start with a quick little session with just his front feet. So same process, pick up his foot, do one little rasp, and clicking as that happens, and feeding. So clicking here, and then I'll feed. So just a nice little introduction to the rasp, and he really didn't care. Like he's offering me his foot here, like he doesn't seem bothered in any way, totally relaxed. So this is very nice. And if you do everything slowly in progress like that, this is the way it should be. Then we're going to work on a little bit of the stay. So I just asked him to come away from the mounting block. I'm going to give him my cue to stay, which is just me touching his forehead and then telling him to stand, and then I'm taking a couple of steps back. So or I'm gonna just kind of pat on him for a second, and then I'll give him my cue here, a couple steps back. I'm gonna wait for his head to straighten out, then I'm clicking there and then feeding. So I'm just kind of mixing in the stay just between sessions, like you saw me trimming his feet a little bit earlier, rasping his feet, then we'll work on this and we'll go do something else. And I want to make sure that he's cool with it. I can turn my back to him, I can walk backward facing him. So he's okay with different positions, me going away. Right now, we're just doing a few steps and then we'll build on it over time. But I also want to do this in different locations as well. So he's totally cool with standing still in the round pen in the arena, going through the gate, standing in the wash rack, whatever it might be that I want him to do. This is where I'm going to start adding in this behavior. And then later on, I'll be doing it like while I'm leading. So I'll be leading him forward. I'll ask him to stop and stand, and then I'll go do something. That's going to be a little bit harder. So at this point, it's just going to be we're doing something, and then I'll have him stay while I go grab something. That's a little bit easier than having him stay from the walk, but he's doing quite well. I'm going to add in a few more steps, and like I really like to start out with just a couple steps. I'm like, hey, we're doing the stay again, and again we'll fade that out over time. But for him, just gives him a clue of what behavior it is that I want, and then I can build up the amount of steps.